Good evening, everyone. You're in the spotlight with Brian Gardner for this Tuesday, April the 16th, 2019. Good to have you all here for our first of two shows this week. Look at this, we're on time. We're actually on time for a show. When's the last time that's happened? So that's awesome. Figures it's one of our shorter shows, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. Hope your week is treating you well so far. We don't have a lot to do tonight, as I said, but before we get into what we got to do and what the deal is with tonight and the rest of this week and beyond, first let me remind you all the ways which you can interact and contribute to our show. Have your voice heard by emailing us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. Remember to use the hashtag IT Spotlight 411 for anything you tweet regarding the show. And as always, you can find us on Facebook as well. Just search In the Spotlight 411 on Facebook, and then make sure that you like our fan page so you can interact with us and know what's going on with the show and all that important stuff that is needed for you to be able to fully engage with the show. Okay, so again, this is our first of two shows this week. Not a very busy week, although Thursday will be a little bit of a different show than we've been doing lately. So tonight, all we have on tap for you is a little basketball and some WWE action. Oh, I didn't put this in the show description, but we're going to be talking about the Masters. I should have put in the show description, but we'll talk about Tiger Woods and his big win and what it means for the future of the PGA. So we'll talk about that tonight. We'll also obviously do the NBA playoffs and give our playoff preview. I always like to wait until a couple days in. This is the way it sets up. So for me, we'll do a little bit of a playoff preview, make some predictions, have some fun with that. And then that'll be it from the sports side of things, at least until Thursday. And the rest of the show, we'll talk about the WWE Superstars shakeup that took place on Raw and Smackdown, and of course talk about Raw and Smackdown as well throughout that as well. That'll be our show tonight. And then any other stuff in wrestling we have to talk about, we will too tonight. Then Thursday, we got our entertainment content that we provide every week, our box office beat, TV highlights. And then we also will be having our, which we obviously always do a few weeks into the season, our baseball preview for this year. And any other baseball stuff we have to cover, including the Yankee Red Sox series, which started tonight. We'll talk about all that on Thursday. We're going to save the baseball stuff for Thursday. That's why I'm not doing it tonight, because we're going to do the baseball preview. May as well keep it all together and do it on Thursday. So that's what's going on with this week's show. So Thursday will be a little bit of an entertainment sports combo, but we've done that before. Nothing new there. But that will be what comes up on Thursday. Next week, one show, and that will be on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we'll do all of our usual stuff that we do from sports, wrestling, and entertainment, all of it in one night. And then next Thursday will be preempted because it's Avengers Endgame night, and I know everybody's going to be out there seeing that. We always do that. You guys know this. Every year when this big summer movie season starts and the big movie of the first big movie comes out, we always usually do that. So, it is what it is. Most people are out there seeing a movie, so we figure, why not do? Why do a show that night? So, but it's obviously a special kind of movie. So it makes sense even more so to not do a show that night. So yeah. Anyway, so that's going to be the situation for this week and for next week as well. And then after that, we'll talk more about the schedule beyond that in the days to come. It will be back to a 2-show week schedule for at least the first week of May. After that, we'll have to see. I'm trying to work that out now. So, and as far as what we're going to be doing with the show in the future, we'll get into that as well. Because I'm trying to figure out dates on when I'm going to have, because there's going to be some preemptions in May. So we're trying to narrow that down too. So, all right. So that's the deal with the schedule and what's coming up and what's going down. With that being said, as we wait for my co-host Mike to join, if we're going to get started, because I want to try to, obviously no need to belabor things and not and to fill up the show with nonsense. So we will go into. We'll start off with the Masters, because that's something my co-host does not like to talk about. So we'll start off with the Masters, because that was the big sports story of the weekend. It was the big sports story of the weekend. Now, look, if you look back at the weekend and how it started, There was, you don't want to say false hope to start, but because obviously you've been in these situations before where where things have either started out well. Sorry about that, my camera was bugging out. You don't want to, obviously with Tiger, okay, we've been in this situation before where we have good starts or bad starts and then good finishes and bad finishes. Okay. We've had that. It's been very inconsistent play. And you saw that last year when he kind of came back into competitive golf, when he kind of got back into the swing of things, when he kind of started to show you signs. We talked about that a lot last year, that he was competitive. He could have easily won 2 majors last year, but he didn't. But last year gave you enough hope to think that maybe, couldn't win in the last tour event of the year last year. It gave you hope to think that he could do this again. And you heard me I think I said it sometime in the last few months. I thought he would win a major at some point. I did. But I said it would have to be on a course that plays to him. Now, Augusta always plays to him. That's one of the courses that he knows. But I didn't think it would be the Masters. I thought it would be like a U.S. Open or, PGA Championship or something. Now, there are 2 courses, and we'll talk about this in a minute. This year, U.S. Open's at Bethpage Black, which is a course he's had success on. Not as much as the other course I'm about to talk about, which is Pebble Beach, which is going to be where the PGA Championship is this year. He's had a lot of success on that course, and that course is the one I thought if he was going to win one this year, that was going to be the one. That was going to be the one. So I figured if there was going to be a chance this year, it'd be one of those 2. I did not think it'd be the Masters. Yes, I was aware of how well he started last week, early last week. The question was, and really you took it day by day. It was, okay, he got through day 1, he performed well. Let's see what happens on day 2. Oh, he got to the end of day 2. He's still right there. He performed well. Let's see what happens on day 3. And he stayed there. And then you get to day 4 and you're like, okay, this is the day that the old Tiger, let's see, he's wearing the red shirt. He's got the Nike hat. Let's see if he can pull this off. Let's see if he can get to the back 9. We get to the back 9, he's still there. Okay, this is the most consistent consistent play of golf he's had in over a decade. If he can do that, then you start to feel good about his chances. And that's exactly what he did. And he stayed there. He didn't. And look, this is the first time in Tiger's career in a major he had to play from behind and win from behind. Usually he'd get out in front and then, that's the whole thing of the red polo, blood in the water. I'm going to finish it off. And that's what he does. And you haven't had that intimidation factor, and you don't usually have the intimidation factor when he's playing from behind. Well, you had that on Sunday. And look, a lot of people are debating this, and I've always believed in this. Look, I know he's not the same Tiger Woods. He's never going to be the same Tiger Woods, okay? But he can still play competitive golf. He can still win tournaments. And he showed that to you in spurts last year. You saw enough last year to think it's possible. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's possible. Now you know it can happen. And what you saw on Sunday, first of all, good for the PGA because it was great theater throughout the entire tournament. But Sunday was something special. Even if you don't like golf, it was something special to watch. And I'm not one of these people that hangs on every single thing Tiger does. Some people are so obsessed with it, it creeps you out. I watch it because I'm interested. And it's not just Tiger. I like Phil. I like Rory. I like Jordan Spieth, Dustin. There's a lot of players on the tour I like to watch. There's a lot of good young players out there. It's the generation of Tiger-like athletes that are out there now. So there's a lot of players to watch that were inspired by Tiger. So that makes it even more interesting that he pulled this out. It was so interesting to watch Sunday because for the first time in over a decade, It wasn't that he won. It was the fact that he caused the other players to hear him in the background, hear footsteps. You could see it, and I know people are going to debate it. You could see it. Morinari, who was leading, all of a sudden became was doing things. And if you watch this guy on tour, he doesn't make these kind of mistakes. He's a very straightforward kind of conservative player. He does not take the shots that are reckless. He started taking reckless shots, thinking that he had to do something drastic to try to hold on to the lead. Dustin Johnson, same thing. These are guys that beat Tiger. In those two majors I talked about last year that he lost, that he easily could have won, the two guys that beat him, he beat out to win the Masters on Sunday. It's like it was perfectly drawn up for him. Perfectly drawn up for him. And to beat a field of players that were inspired by him makes it all the more insane to watch. And once he got to, I think it was 15, and he hit that ridiculous shot to get on the green, or no, 16, pardon me, I knew he had it. Because he'd have, everybody else was dropping back. He'd have to blow it badly on 17 and 18. He'd have to pull a Phil on 17 or 18 to do that. And Tiger's not going to do that. He's going to get the ball on the green. He's going to just conservatively punch it in. That's what he's going to do. And that's exactly what he did. He knew he had a stroke to play with on the 18th hole, and he used it. And he knew he could still come out one stroke ahead. And it was a moment. It was a moment of redemption from in terms of the sport, and it was a moment of redemption in terms of his own personal demons. Because this is a guy, let's forget about the drama with his family and his ex-wife and everything. Look, that all, this is a guy that wasn't well liked. Even when he was at the height of the sport, and even when he was at the height of his career, he was not well liked. He made the fans very frustrated. He didn't treat the fans well. He didn't treat his friends well. He didn't treat his family well. He didn't treat other people in the game well. Nobody wanted to be around him. And it took a long time, even after all the stuff that happened in his personal life, to get back from that. It took a long time for him to find a decent, become a decent human being. And then, of course, all the health problems that kept him down. And look, this back situation is not going to take for the rest of his career. He's on borrowed time with it. Fusion surgery is not going to last forever. But what you've seen in last year and now this year is if he can stay healthy, he can win tournaments. That's just the bottom line. And look, this is a monkey off his back. I've said this for the last few years. If he could win one, because there was a physical part of it, and there was also a mental part of it. It got to the point where it was more of a mental than a physical, I thought, especially last year. I thought if he won one, he could win more than one. I thought the floodgates would open. I'm not saying he's going to catch Jack. I think he has a good chance now. As long as he stays healthy, I think he has a very good chance. But especially this year with the courses, he could easily win the next two majors. Those courses are very favorable from it. The weather stays, well, good for them. Good for him. Especially Pebble Beach plays beautiful for him. So there's a good chance he can win at least one more major this year. In fact, I think he will. I think he'll win one more. If he wins two more, then I think he definitely catches Jack. Because he only needs one to tie. If he wins two more. And if he ever got them all out of the way this year, how crazy would that be? If he wins a Grand Slam at 43? Can you imagine that? It'd be crazy. It was epic theater. It was a great ceremony. The moment, like a full circle moment. Him hugging his son. I mean, his kids were born like the last time he had won a major. This kid never saw this. And there he is hugging his son, which threw you back to the first time he won the Masters when he hugged his father. It was an emotional, beautiful moment. It was a great event. It was great theater to watch. And you don't have to like the guy. I still have my issues with him, but he's come a long way. Everything you hear about him is that he's turned a major corner. He's treating the fans better. You could see that on Sunday. His fellow players were congratulating. They were all there. They all stayed, congratulating him. The fans, his reaction, the primal scream, like this was a different Tiger Woods than 10 years ago. And it was a great moment, and it's great for the sport. The PGA had ratings off the charts. They're going to have ratings off the charts all year now. Because now Tiger Watch is back, officially. And he is back. He won a tournament. He is back. So, it brings golf back, and golf shouldn't be reliant on one guy. Look, technically they're not. There's a lot of good players. But we all know Tiger strikes the needle in a different way. He brings casual fans that don't even care about golf to watching it. There are people that aren't even sports fans that were interested in Tiger Woods on Sunday. The impact he has is ridiculous. So, a very, very huge deal on Sunday. And look, we'll see what happens going forward. It's going to be interesting to see how, if he can pull off at least one more major this year and see if he can catch him now. But it's good for the sport, and it was a cool story. Probably one of the best sports stories, best comebacks of all time. Because people don't realize, like the drugs and everything with his wife and everything. Yeah, that's, there was a chance he wasn't going to walk again. It's crazy. I mean, it reminds you of Ben Hogan a little bit. Except Ben Hogan didn't have as many personal demons. Or any, really. Just that he had a life-threatening accident. So, Sunday was a magical day in the sports world for that reason. Now, Mike is here. I'm going to bring him in. Mike, you're in the spotlight.
Yes, I am here. Yes, I'm in the spotlight.
Are you excited about Tiger Woods?
I don't care about Tiger Woods, but it's good that he won, I guess.
The PGA is ecstatic.
Yeah, well, Tiger did something. The PGA is ecstatic. I'm pretty sure the PGA would have been ecstatic if Tiger Woods dropped trout and took a shit right on the 17th hole.
It's very true.
But I'm sure winning the Masters is probably a bit more for their class.
That's very true. It's very true. But yeah, it was quite the momentous occasion. And Jim Nantz was all about it, of course. As he always is.
Yeah, Jim Nantz need to change his pants once or twice.
I would say a lot of sports people had to do that. A lot of people on Twitter, you could see it. Like a lot of sports media was going crazy. It is interesting. I mean, like I said, I was interested in it, and I follow it. I'm not like a huge Tiger fan or anything, but I do follow it. But some people are just obsessed. Like it's scary. If you follow their social media, it's scary. Like the way that they were going on and on about, like, I'm not going to say it's not a big sports story. It's a huge sports story. It's a great comeback. It was something awesome to watch on Sunday. I won't dispute that. But the way that some people were for the last few years, have been talking about Tiger, and the way oh my God, it's like, whew. Fanboyism doesn't even begin to describe it. But big deal for the sports world on Sunday. It's something that will be documented in many, many ways for years to come. And again, that was the big sports story of the weekend. But another big focus of the weekend in the sports world was the NBA playoffs, which got underway on Saturday. And you've already had a couple of surprises. Obviously, no series are over. But you had the Sixers lay a collective egg against the Nets. And there's some drama there. And look, here's the thing that you're going to have to watch with the Sixers. Okay? And there's not going to be any trusting the process with this one, okay? You have an issue here because they did not play well at home in that game. You have Joel Embiid looking at his cell phone in the fourth quarter when they're losing. Now, I know he's got some issues injury-wise, okay? Now, he claimed that a teammate was going through a medical thing, he was trying to help him out, whatever. But look, you having a cell phone, you know how bad an optic that is? So that's an issue. And the way that they played, now they came back and played well last night, which is a good sign. But that's just the fact that even happened. The way that they played and that even happened. And they also have a problem with Ben Simmons. Now, Mike, I'm sure you'd agree with me. You and me, I think we've always agreed on Ben Simmons being overrated.
A little bit, yep.
Since back in LSU. And he never demonstrated at LSU that he could be that kind of like game-changing player. And he's showing that here. He's not a good basketball player. I mean, look, he's the kind of guy that's, I don't even know if he's a Robin to somebody's Batman. I think he's just like he's to me he's a role player that just happens to start because he's got better players around him, makes it look better. You just keep adding, like the Sixers have one of the best starting fives in the NBA, if not the best, when they're all healthy. And it makes him look better because he doesn't have to do as much. But when, like, you figure, okay, Embiid's got an injury situation, so who knows how that's going to go throughout the next few weeks. And then you got, like, but if you know, Jimmy Butler struggles, or other guys struggle, and then you're looking to Ben Simmons to be Kyrie Irving, which is what some people like to compare him to. Now, I have my issues with Kyrie, and you know that. But Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath. It just shouldn't happen. Because they're nowhere close to the kind of player, the same kind of player. Nowhere close. When you see Kyrie Irving right, Kyrie Irving is 4 times a better player than Ben Simmons. And that's not even an exaggeration. Not even close. So they have an issue at Ben Simmons. And I think that if they're wise after the season, they sell high on Ben Simmons and do something there. Because look, they're not going to win the NBA championship. The Milwaukee's better. Milwaukee looks crazy good right now. Toronto's better. They look crazy good right now. Boston looks like they've woken up. Gordon Hayward has all of a sudden found it, which is dangerous for the rest of the East. So, and the Nets, and look, Atkinson can coach his rear end off. Okay, the Nets are not a bad basketball team. And the Nets are going to be a team to watch in the next few years. This is a team that's playing really well right now. And I know they lost big last night because the Nets pretty much, because the Sixers pretty much got raked over the coals. I think they had a chip on their shoulder. But the Nets are not the Nets are going to make this a little bit more of a series than people think. I think they already have. It's going to be really interesting to see who comes out east. I'll give a prediction in just a moment, but that was one of the biggest shocks, was obviously the Sixers laying that egg early on. And then I think the next biggest shock was last night. The Warriors blowing a 31-point lead to the Clippers, a historic comeback for the Clippers, who are kind of like the Nets of the West, where they got a good young team. Obviously, they got Doc Rivers coaching, who is right on the cusp. Like they're going to be active in free agency, just like the Nets are going to try to be. Those are 2 landing spots. If you're a free agent, you want a team that might be just on the cusp. Clippers and Nets are the 2. The Clippers, what they did to the Warriors last night, after Golden State dominated Game 1, was amazing. Amazing. After Curry had that magical Game 1, and they just it was crazy what they did. And of course the loss of DeMarcus Cousins didn't help, and he is out, by the way, for the rest of the playoffs. So that's, I mean, again, the guy can't stay healthy. That's devastating because he was just now starting to contribute and play really, really well for the Golden State Warriors. So
Are you talking about how the Golden State Warriors had the biggest collapse in playoff history? Because I think they did, and I don't know why. I was watching a sweet video about a new SmackDown tag team, and all of a sudden Brian just leaves. Embarrassing. Just embarrassing. Anyways, playoffs are happening. NBA. Golden State Warriors. Well, they didn't do so hot in game two. They didn't do so hot at all. They were up real big. I'm pulling the score up now. They were up real big. And, well, the Clippers came roaring back. The Warriors squandered a 31-point lead. Lou Williams led the Clippers with 36 points and 11 assists. And the Clippers beat the Warriors 135 to 131 in the largest postseason comeback of all time. Now, that's worth saying something. And for any other team, that could break them. That could legitimately break them. But it's the Warriors. I'm sure they'll probably come bouncing back. A couple of them shoot threes. But this is a Warriors team whose chemistry is kind of off. And you can tell two of their stars may not want to be there. And I'm not just talking about Kevin Durant. Well, he is one of the stars. But Durant is checked out. If he gets another title, great. If he doesn't, great. It's just time for him to kind of be gone and find somewhere else to be. But if you watch interviews with all of the Warrior stars, you can tell with the body language, Durant doesn't want to be there. Even Klay Thompson, who was one of the original big three for the Warriors, he's kind of checked out too. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't mean they're not playing, because they certainly are. Durant had 21 points. Klay Thompson had 17. But you can kind of tell that they're, like, in body language and interviews, that they're ready to kind of be done. And Kevin Durant fouled out, which is something he doesn't generally do. Patrick Beverley fouled out guarding Kevin Durant. That is something that happens. But I digress. Lou Williams had 36. Harrell had 25. Beverly had 10. Gallinari, Danilo Gallinari of all people, where has he been? He had 24, and the Clippers kind of come back and upset the Warriors. So that may be a series to watch. The Golden State Empire you might start seeing the major cracks in the foundation in that one. And the Brooklyn Nets beat the 76ers, the 76ers beat the Brooklyn Nets. So, yeah, Ben Simmons had a triple-double. So, I mean, 18, 10, and 12 is fine. He is a bit overrated, but let's face it, a triple-double is a triple-double. And kind of came through tonight for the Sixers. So they kind of right the ship a little bit, kind of come back in. But right now in the NBA, we're going to briefly go over NBA scores until Spot White Boy comes back. The Toronto Raptors defeated the Orlando Magic. Hey, I didn't think the Magic got into the playoffs, but here we are. I didn't think the Magic took the first game in the series, but here we are in the Toronto Raptors, who legitimately were legitimately one of the best teams in the East, had to come back to take. So they had to defend their building. They split it 1-1. So now, for some reason, there's a series. The Spurs are up on the Nuggets by 9, it looks like. Yep, they're up by 9. DeMar DeRozan's having a bit of a game so far, 19.7 rebounds. So you're on double double alert, obviously. Joker for the Nuggets. He's having himself a solid game too, double double watch as well, 12 and 9 rebounds for Joker. So it says we're off air, so I don't know if any of this is getting recorded, but I don't know. We'll see. So Joker's having a bit of a game. Then the Thunder and the Blazers play a little bit later tonight, 10:30. So there you go. So there's a brief kind of foray into the NBA playoffs. Celtics are up on the Pacers, 1-0. The Blazers are up on the Thunder. The Milwaukee Bucks pretty much routed the Pistons to nobody's surprise. To nobody's surprise, especially with Blake Griffin kind of being out and Drummond fouling out or being ejected. It's not surprising. Giannis had himself a monster game, so he's kind of the truth. So, and the Rockets beat the Jazz. Don't expect a lot of defense in that one, but there you go. Because it's all offense all the time. Well, Houston will outshoot you for sure. So there we go. There we are. In tomorrow's games, you're going to get game 2 in the Indiana-Boston series. You're going to get game 2 Detroit-Milwaukee, and you're going to get game 2 in Utah and Houston. Obviously, Houston, people are expecting Houston to go over Utah. Like people are expecting the Bucks to kind of beat the Pistons, and well, people may have thought that the Pacers and the Celtics may have put on a better series, but you never know. That could be more interesting. I don't know what else to tell you. The Pacers and the Celtics, that series is far from over. But you had a lot of series kind of tied up tonight, or a couple kind of tied up tonight. It looks like, or in the last couple days. The Warriors and the Clips, the Nets and the Sixers, all tied up. The Magic and the Raps, all tied up. Let's see if Oklahoma City can right the ship tonight against the Trailblazers. And the Spurs just went up 10 on the Nuggets. So they're trying to go up 2-0 in that series as well. This is not the quality NBA talk you're expecting. I have barely been following the series. Barely been following the playoffs. I came in because I thought it would be something I could note because the Pistons got routed. They got railroaded. They lost by like 40. But here we are. There we go. And I know Brian's probably excited. He's probably going to be like enjoying himself later when he's rewatching that Red Sox Yankees game where the Yankees routed the Red Sox. Routing seems to be the word of the day. They beat the Red Sox 8-0. Beat the Red Sox 8-0. So Brian is going to be enjoying himself later on as he's thinking about that major win. Anyways. Can you hear me? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if I know you can't see me, but I don't know if you can hear me. Because I'm not seeing those little green buttons. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I digress. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about with sports today. It doesn't matter. Blue Jackets pull off stunning sweep of record-setting Lightning. Oh. Tampa Bay Lightning won 62 games this year, which is an awful lot. And then the Blue Jackets swept them out of the playoffs. So if you're in Columbus, they beat them for their first ever series win. So good for the fucking Blue Jackets. Good for the Blue Jackets. So good. That was a big NHL story. Also, the Islanders. The Islanders beat the Penguins 4-0. Sid the Kid goes out, and of all teams, the New York Islanders have advanced in the playoffs. How interesting. So 2 series for the NHL have kind of ended tonight. Meanwhile, the San Jose Sharks and the Vegas Golden Knights are playing Game 4 tonight. The Golden Knights are up 2-1. The Winnipeg Jets, they are down in the series 2-1 to the St. Louis Blues. But they are at the end of the first. And it is goose egg. So, there you go. So we only have a couple of series kind of over. The Capitals are currently up on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Maple Leafs might actually win a freaking playoff series for the first time in forever. They're up 2-1 on the Bruins. But they had to fight. They only won 3-2. The Preds in Nashville, they're leading the Stars 2-1. They beat them yesterday 3-2. And the Colorado Avalanche, who I don't even remember being good since 1999. They're up 2-1 on the Calgary Flames. Excuse me. Well, they up 2-1 on the Calgary Flames. They won 6-3 last night. So games like that can really, really affect your playoff chances. It really can kind of knock out and kind of cut your confidence. It really can. So the Flames haven't been great in forever. They may not be so great soon, but hopefully they can kind of bounce back and maybe kind of come back in and give Colorado more of a game or get more of a series. But we're in the NHL. 2 series are over. Tampa Bay Lightning, who are the overall favorites going into this postseason, they got swept diddly-upped, which is something. Which is something. You don't win 62 games and kind of get swept out of the first round, but here we are. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, well, they're advancing in their first ever playoff win, which is a big, big deal. And the Islanders are finally good. Beat the Penguins. How many wins do the Islanders have? They have 48 wins, which is not terrible. It's not bad. And said the kid, well, he's got an early postseason. So, adios, Sidney Crosby. Adios. You and your 100 points can take a break for the rest of the postseason. Try again next year. The Jackets beat them 7. Jeez. The Jackets beat the Lightning 7-3, so they made a statement. And the Blues and the Jets, they have resumed play in the second period. St. Louis is still up in the series 2-1, and your score in St. Louis is still jack shit to jack shit. Hockey. Gotta love it, I guess. All right, so I've literally covered every fucking thing. So I'm just going to start covering wrestling. Brian can come back whenever he fucking wants to. I don't care. So, Superstar Shakeup. It happened. It happened. So, let's kind of go through the ongoing list. To Raw people who kind of appeared on Raw last night, who joined Raw. They include The Miz, who came out to assault Shane McMahon. Aleister Black and Ricochet finally picked a brand. They're going to stay on Raw. The War Raiders from NXT, the NXT Tag Team Champions, who are now known as the Viking Experience. Well, I have opinions about that name, and so does everybody else. They are on Raw, though, so it's a good pickup for Raw. Andrade with Zelina Vega's on Raw. Cedric Alexander's on Raw, which is interesting. Interesting choice. Don't know if I would have made that move, but hey, they did. And I'm hoping Cedric doesn't get lost in the shuffle, but he might. Rey Mysterio goes to Raw. The Usos are on Raw. Naomi, Eric Young, without the rest of sanity, is on Raw. Lacey Evans, she's continuing her feud with Becky Lynch. That's going to be on Raw. EC3, he got squashed. And for some reason, I don't know, that guy prints money. He is money, and you're not using it properly. Here we go. And then AJ Styles is the big name. He's moved from SmackDown to Raw. Samoa Joe will probably end up on the brand as well because Finn Balor's on SmackDown now. So they're going to switch belts again. The U.S. title is probably going to end up back on Raw. Or they may find a way to get the title on Braun Strowman. One of the two. Lars Sullivan assaulted somebody on Raw last night. He came out and assaulted R-Truth on SmackDown tonight. So what brand is Lars on? Who fucking knows? Ember Moon, Bayley. They debuted in the same segment. Paige revealed the new tag team. Otherwise, apparently, some people are calling them the Anime Experience or the Japanese Experience. Paige's new tag team is Asuka, who is going to be in the women's tag team division now, and the newest call-up, Kairi Sane. I expect Io Shirai to be a part of this group at some point in the future. Especially, you can make a big old cool stable out of it, even though they'd all be Japanese. And Paige is English. Buddy Murphy is another guy I would not have taken off of 205 Live yet, but he is going to be on SmackDown. He may be lost in the shuffle, but Buddy Murphy is so good. Buddy Murphy is so good. They can do an awful lot with him. I just hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Elias and Roman Reigns debuted. Chad Gable, for some reason, is on SmackDown without Bobby Roode. Apollo Crews, to the surprise of me, and Liv Morgan and Mickie James. So they broke up the Riot Squad. So Liv Morgan is now on SmackDown. And so is Mickie James. Tyler Breeze, not on SmackDown. He's still on Raw. And there is a rumor that Alexander Wolf, formerly of Sanity, may end up back on NXT. He may end up back on NXT. Excuse me. I don't know. Raw was. I didn't see Raw. I saw a couple parts of SmackDown tonight. I will say Kevin Owens is the big O. By the way, there's a huge anime reference for those of you who watched anime in the late '90s, early 2000s. The Big O was a moderately successful anime, way more popular on this side of the Pacific than in Japan, of all places. Main character Roger Smith, voiced by Steve Blum. So if you're seeing Kevin Owens' head on a giant robot, that's why. And, when you see it, look on Twitter. So Kevin Owens is the Big O. He helped. He helped them get a win over Rusev, Nakamura, and Cesaro. Sheamus surprisingly, kind of missing. That's okay. Sheamus has been he's been working through some things, so it's probably some time for Sheamus to kind of get some rest here. So there are some major moves here going through SmackDown and Raw. Kairi Sane and Asuka are kind of poising themselves to be the next big challengers to the Iconics. Bayley kind of said she's a singles wrestler again. So Bayley and Ember Moon might start feuding over who gets to try to get the SmackDown title away from Becky. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Lacey Evans is going to try to get the Raw title. Finn Balor and Ali. I will say this though, if you're going to watch anything from SmackDown, like any match, I recommend watching Balor versus Ali. I think he should have gone to a no contest there, but they wanted to put Finn over huge in his first night. Like Mustafa Ali and Finn Balor had a great match. Finn kind of is the older junior heavyweight, and Ali is kind of like the newer junior heavyweight. They had a great match. Finn worked Ali's ribs really, really well. It was a great moment. Great match. Highly recommended. And everything involving Kevin Owens in the New Day was amazing. Everybody expected Owens to kind of turn on Kofi Kingston here tonight, but we're saving that for later on. But KO is the Big O. He was fantastic. And the Iconics lost again tonight to Sane and Asuka. So normally that means they're in line for a title match. So, and Roman Reigns showing up on SmackDown. Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Not unexpected. Elias on SmackDown was. Roman Reigns on SmackDown, not unexpected. It was either him or Brock. Roman is full time though, so you're gonna go with Roman. Excuse me. Roman's not going to be touching the title for a while, although it might be hard to keep him away from it. It would have been easier to do it on Raw. But if you take an AJ from SmackDown, you need a big name to kind of go over. Roman refreshes things a little bit. Although, for somebody who is a fan of Kevin Owens...
Okay, stop the wrestling talk.
That is a little disheartening. Now, I covered everything.
Listen, first of all, if we covered everything in like 15, 20 minutes, we wouldn't have a show.
Well, I covered everything, so I'm going to go pee now, and you can kind of cover the basketball, the hockey, some baseball, and the Superstar Shakeup too. Have fun.
Oh, well, geez, that's going to be good for a one-sided conversation. All right.
What do you think I've been having for the last 20 minutes?
Well, I had reasons. I'll talk about it later. Anyway, yeah, so where was I? So where we were at was I was talking about the other shock, which was the Golden State kind of choke job last night. And it was a choke job, blowing a 31-point lead. And look, again, the DeMarcus Cousins injury does hurt, and he's out for the rest of the playoffs, as I was saying. Look, do you worry about Golden State? No, I mean, this is more of an indictment of where the Clippers are at as a team, I think. Because look, you've seen Golden State have these weird situations where, you know, they struggle. You know, where they go through a bad shooting night. We know how they play. You know, if they have a bad shooting night, they're not going to, win. And if they go through those ruts where they don't play well, shoot the ball well, they lose. That's kind of what happens. So, but yeah, that's kind of what happens. So, we'll have to see. I mean, look, I don't expect them to lose this series, but it does, give the Clippers something to hang their hats on going into the offseason because they're not going to win the series. It's kind of the same thing as the Nets. You don't expect them to win that series against Philly, but it does, although you give them more of a chance, I think. But look, it does give you, like, for a young team that, okay, it's on the cusp, that gives you a little bit of a confidence boost. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's important that you play well as a young team, and you've seen the Clippers do it, and you've seen the Nets do it. So, now as you stand right now in these series, again, the Bucks have looked good. The Magic beat the Raptors, which I look, the Raptors look good in defeat of only losing by 3, but still, I mean, look, you give the Magic credit again, another good young team showing promise here. You expect them to win the series, but it gives them some confidence going forward. And that's Sixers are tied. Celtics beat the Pacers. Celtics look very good in Game 1. As far as defensively, they did. We talked about the Warriors and the Clippers. Spurs beat the Nuggets. If there's going to be an upset in the first round, it's going to be that one. Because it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't believe in Denver. I just don't trust. I think this is a matchup problem for Denver here. And Denver's a team that I never thought would get out of the second round anyway, even though I thought they were a fairly decent team. But I mean, if there's going to be an upset, this is going to be the series at its end because I think San Antonio right now is the better team as far as the matchup goes. So, and then you got Portland, the Thunder, which, so many people thought the Thunder was going to be Portland. I mean, I could see it, but at the same time, there's something about Oklahoma City. They played so well early, like the first half of the season, and the second half of the season, they just haven't looked the same. So I still would probably favor Portland there, especially since they won Game 1. But and Houston, Utah, which Houston's going to win that series probably easily. So, so if you're looking for predictions for me, I think like I said, I think I kind of just gave them to you. Let's see here. Milwaukee's going to win. I said in Toronto will probably win. Atlanta might get one more game in the series, but that's about it. The Sixers will win the series. I mean, the Nets again might get one more game in the series, but that's about it. Celtics will beat the Pacers, although that series could go 7 because that's a pretty good matchup. But the way the Celtics played the other night defensively, I could see it going shorter than that. Golden State will win. I don't think the Clippers will get another game. They think they got lucky last night. They'll probably wait the Warriors up to just kind of finish the series and then go back to kind of cruise controlling it. Let's see. Spurs, I think, will beat the Nuggets. I think they'll beat them in 6. Portland, I think, will get the Thunder in 6. Yeah, I give the Thunder a chance to get 2 probably. Houston, I think, will get the Jazz in 5, and that's how I see it going. Now, if you want beyond that, let's see. Let's see here. So the matchups would be if my predictions hold true. It would be Milwaukee versus Boston and Sixers versus Raptors. So that'd be all chalk. If that were to happen, I would say the Raptors will beat the Sixers. I think they're better. I talked about Ben Simmons earlier. That's a pretty big deficiency for him, I think. And then I think the Bucks beat the Celtics. Although I think that's a 7-game series. And if the Bucks win that series, I think the Raptors go to the finals. I thought I don't believe in Milwaukee. I just think the Raptors are better. It's a favorable matchup for the Raptors, I think. If it's the so if it's the Bucks, I think the Raptors will win. If it's the Celtics, I think the Celtics will win. Because I think the Celtics are against the Raptors. Again, we saw that last year. I think there's just a tough matchup for the Raptors. So that's how I would see it going there. So I guess if I'm going with, so what's the more likely scenario? I think. I'm going to go with the Celtics. I think I've been with the Celtics. Again, it's not that I don't believe in the Bucks. I just got a feeling about the Celtics the way they're playing. So I'll take the Celtics to come out of the East. So the Celtics to beat the Bucks and then beat the Raptors. The West, I'm thinking Warriors. Warriors get to at least the Western Conference Finals. I said Spurs will beat Denver. So let's see if this holds true. You're going to have Golden State versus Houston, which would be a great series. Probably go 7. You've seen that before. And then Portland versus San Antonio more than likely. Because I think San Antonio will win that series. Honestly, I could see San Antonio getting to the Western Conference Finals. Because I think a lot of people feel like whoever's in that 3-6 game gets the Western Conference Finals. So yeah, I think if San Antonio wins that series, I think San Antonio will beat Portland and go to the Western Conference Finals. Which case Golden State's going to win. So Golden State's going to come. Golden State's, realistically speaking, whoever wins the Golden State Houston series is going to get to the finals. And I think it'll be Golden State. So I think Golden State gets to the finals. So I think Golden State, Boston. And if that's the case, I still think Golden State wins. I know it's predictable. I know it's chalk, but that's the way I see it. So a fairly predictable round of predictions for me for the NBA playoffs. I think it's going to be a good playoffs. Again, I think if there's an upset, it's the Spurs over the Nuggets. Other than that, I don't see any other upsets on the board. We already had a couple of surprises. I mentioned the Clipper one last night. Again, I think that's all the Clippers are going to get in that series. The Nets the other night, most notably because of the Nets. Because of the Sixers not playing well and laying an egg in that game. I could see the Nets getting another game, but that's about it. So I expect the favorites to win those respective series. But those have been some of the surprises so far in these playoffs. And again, I don't expect, other than Denver losing to San Antonio, I don't expect anything more in the first round as far as surprises go. I'm not saying there won't be surprises going forward. I think it'll be, obviously San Antonio beats Denver. I could see, like I said, San Antonio beating Portland as well, and that would be a surprise. But other than that, I don't really see much surprise going forward. So it should be a very predictable playoffs from that point on. And again, would that suck for the NBA? Yeah, because it probably would reach a big ratings boon here. And look, I think they already know they're going to take it on the chin with the ratings. LeBron's not there, but it is what it is. So, you just do the best you can and try to have a good playoffs and try to be compelling. And look, in the finals, it's going to be interesting this year because only going to be Cleveland Golden State again. So, we'll see. It's going to be a fresh matchup. Can anybody beat Golden State? I don't think they can. Even without DeMarcus Cousins. I love how people look. DeMarcus Cousins is a loss, but they won without DeMarcus Cousins before. Now, if they lose Durant in the offseason and they don't have Cousins next year too, then it's a little bit different. But but they still have Durant on that team, and then even if Curry's not 100%, and you add that to not having Cousins, I think they'll still be all right. So, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. So it's not gonna be the most eventful NBA playoffs, but I think it'll be. I think it'll be okay enough. I think there'll be enough interesting things going on, and the finals could be end up being decent at least. So, at least at the very least, it'll be fresh. So, um, but so far, NBA off to somewhat of a decent start. Again, a couple of surprises, and we'll see where it goes here going forward. Tonight's games right now, Toronto tied up the series with Orlando 1-1 with a 111-82 victory. So there you go. I told you Toronto would probably, Orlando was lucky to get that one game. It's probably all they're going to get. 9-11 left in the fourth quarter on NBA TV. San Antonio leads Denver 89-86. And again, I've told you now it's 91-86. I think San Antonio is the favorite there, at least in my mind. And then Portland leads Oklahoma City 24-22 with 2:16 left in the first quarter. That game on TNT. So if you're interested in those two ongoing games, be sure to check them out. Okay, so that's where we're at with the NBA playoffs. Again, that was a much longer segment because I had to jump off than planned. But so yeah. So again, we said we'd cover NBA and we'd cover the Masters, which we did, and Mike did some stuff on NBA as well while I was gone. So let's jump to the second half, what we have planned here, which is wrestling.
I also covered hockey.
I was going to cover hockey because to me it hasn't been that interesting so far.
Well, it got interesting.
In which way?
Tampa Bay Lightning won 62 games this year.
Yes.
Which was a record.
Oh, they lost.
Yeah, they got swept out of the playoffs. But hey, Brian, you don't need to cover it. I already did it. I also covered all the scores. So you're just kind of retreading water. I already swam, dude.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm just kind of stunned by that because I didn't think they'd get swept. I thought they'd at least win tonight.
Nope, they got swept out. No,
well,
not only did they get swept, they got wrecked. 7-3. They got stomped.
Wow, that changes the whole complexion of the playoffs. Wow.
Yeah, and then the Islanders won.
Well, that one I was expecting to sweep because the way they looked in the first two games. Because I actually watched a little bit of that series.
Yeah, but the Islanders suck. Except they don't suck now. But usually they do.
Well, the way they looked in that series, you could think the Islanders could get there. Wow, that's crazy. So maybe we'll have to follow the NHL because that's speaking of shocks and people looking for shocks early in the in the playoffs. That's two shocks right there.
Sure is.
Knocking the Penguins out and then knocking the Lightning out. Good Lord, that's part of what I said. There's nothing interesting going on. There's things interesting going on.
Yeah, you got rid of the record-breaking team and you got rid of Sid the Kid.
Yeah.
So things are happening. And everybody else is at 2-1. But I already covered it, so there's that.
Yeah, you did cover it. I'm glad you did because look, it's not that I didn't know what the series were. I just didn't expect it to be. I mean, the Islanders expected to win, but I didn't think that was much of a story because pretty much after they got up 3-0, everybody ruled the Penguins out. But the Lightning, I thought they'd at least get a game. I thought they'd win tonight. That's shocking to me. Good Lord, that's shocking. Wow.
So let's talk about wrestling.
Yeah, let's do that because
I already covered some of the superstar shakeup. I covered who kind of left and who didn't.
Okay.
It was weird. It's been weird.
Sorry, I'm looking at the Twitter comments for the Lightning. It's kind of crazy. I didn't realize there was that many people that are going to be just completely shocked by it. But wow, it strikes you that there are a lot more people following the NHL now than maybe even 4 or 5 years ago. People have come back to it a little bit, whereas opposed to 5 years ago, it was a struggle. Now people have come back to it. So yeah, that's a shock. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, going back to what you said. Look, I think SmackDown did a better job over these last two nights because of the fact that they made I guess they just better used the talent over the last 2 days. yesterday it felt so uneventful when somebody like joined the roster. It was like they just got tossed in some random match. They didn't have any, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't treat it like a big deal. It was just like, oh yeah, here's so and so, they're joining Raw. Or they just threw out like a bunch of names. Some people weren't even on the broadcast. They just threw out a bunch of names. Whereas tonight with SmackDown, I feel like every segment, like I think the only one last night I think they did a good job with was AJ and The Miz, beginning and end of the show. But even AJ didn't seem like a big deal. It was like, oh, we're just going to toss him in there. Like Miz was at least a big deal. He got to attack Shane. He got busted open again.
Yep.
Good job, Shane. Good job, Shane. But yeah, other than that, it wasn't like a very eventful like show. I mean, there's a couple of decent segments, but there wasn't a whole lot going on. And I think the best segment was probably Alexa Bliss and Sami Zayn.
Easily.
And that was 100% Sami Zayn. So, yep. So it's yeah. So I don't even know what they were trying to. I know they had to rewrite a lot of the show last night because of the travel issues they had. Like some people couldn't get their visas, and a lot of people couldn't get into Montreal. I know Samoa Joe was sick. That's why he didn't appear. And obviously they had to work around Sasha Banks not showing up. Which, by the way, led to kind of a heel turn for Bayley tonight. If you didn't hear it.
I did. I
mentioned
it.
Yeah. They're booing Bayley. Which, look, I'm of the opinion that they could do, and I know we kind of fought against it. I think it was like a year or two ago. I think they should probably turn her heel. Because you notice, you know how good, awesome a heel turn it would be to have her just go completely crazy and just start like taking out the baby balloons and stuff. Let's go psycho.
It'd be funny. Probably not in their best interest, but it'd be funny.
Well, at this point, they're not doing anything else. I mean, she's going to be just. It appears they're going to try to team her Ember a little bit. They tried to do that with Naomi last night with her. So, but yeah. So here's the thing, though. I think, like I said, I think SmackDown did a better job tonight. AJ and Finn were the two guys I thought really had to change brands. There was just no place to go with them. No place to go. And then I thought that Bayley and Sasha had to change brands, which Bayley did. I'm guessing Sasha will when she comes back. Now what's interesting to me, and I told you this off the air, I thought Roman was going to SmackDown. And when they brought Elias out at the end, that was just typical Vince trolling the audience. As soon as they brought Elias out, I'm like, okay, Roman's going to come out. It's going to happen. It's just a bait and switch. And I was right. Because there's no way that was going to be it. Like, and I think Vince was trolling the audience really with the whole biggest acquisition in SmackDown. Everybody knows he's Roman's biggest fan, so. But now I know for you, Mike, you must be very unhappy about this because you know where this is going. Right? I'm sure. Now you know where this is going. Roman's going to get his hands on that title sooner or later here. Yeah, now, I told.
What I was finishing when you came in.
Right. Now, listen. I told you earlier tonight, because of the main event, where they put Owens with the New Day, which was hilarious, by the way.
Big O.
Did a great job with the intro. But, okay, I told you to watch the main event, and there's a reason why I said that, because there's been all kinds of speculation. Their original plans for Kevin Owens got screwed up when they did the audible to Kofi Kingston. And there's also been all this speculation that Fox wants certain people on SmackDown, and Roman's one of them. Because it's very unlike Vince to put his top guy on SmackDown, right?
Right.
So there was speculation today that they were going to turn Kevin Owens heel and have him take the title off Kofi, and then have him carry it until SummerSlam, where Roman Reigns would win it off him. Because obviously they can't have Roman win it off Kofi because he'll get booed out of the building. If he wins it off of a top heel that can easily get the crowd booing, especially since so much of Kevin Owens' face turn has been kind of cut off at the knees because they haven't been able to do anything with him. It just would make sense. And the way that they were booking tonight, with him being so over the top about Kofi in the New Day, didn't it seem to you that's where they were going with it? Like in the main event, he's gonna like stun like both Kofi and Xavier Woods. Like it read like that to me. Like the way that he was carrying himself and going about it, just kind of said to me like, okay, he's gonna turn heel in the main event. And he might still do that. Because if you think about it, who else, you can't have Roman unless it's a multi-guy match. But even then, the transition from Kofi to Roman would be awful. The crowd ain't gonna like that. You gotta find somebody in between to give it to. Who's the other heel? What, Lars Sullivan? Who Roman was rumored to be feuding with anyway, who again was moved to SmackDown today. I mean, that would be the only other heel, right? Who else is on SmackDown that's a heel?
Randy Orton.
And he's not. He's gonna be gone for a little bit here.
Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, Buddy Murphy. Interesting. They moved Cedric to Raw, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Cedric's on Raw and Buddy Murphy could be a guy. I mean, they could always trust Elias still. They want to. Put Elias over and then have Roman take it off Elias. You can do that. Because it's going to be about getting Roman the title. One thing this does do, Mike, on Raw, it paves the way for Strowman and Sami Zayn.
Surprisingly.
Because Seth ain't going to get as long of a reign as Roman's going to get. So, when we were talking off the air about the whole idea, Seth's got a broken back. How's this going to, he's probably going to take apparently he's doing fine. So, he might carry it for a little while longer than we all thought he would. But listen, I thought SmackDown was fairly solid tonight. I thought it was very fun. I liked the paid stuff with Asuka and Kairi Sane. A little bit of a swerve. It looks like they're going all in on them. And didn't I tell you a couple months ago, I said, wouldn't it be great if Paige was Asuka's manager? Did I say that? It's funny. It's like they listened to me or something.
Yeah, hilarious.
Oh, stop. I mean, it's not a bad thing. The crowd seemed to eat it up. It came off pretty well. I don't know if they need to worry about having pairing Bayley and Ember Moon, because I don't know if that's going to work. They don't need to have everybody in the tag division, but then again, at least it gives them something to do. But I thought that whole segment was good, and I thought that
well, they also said about Bayley that she was not going to be in a tag team going forward.
Right, but you know how they are week to week, and the way that just the fact that they did that after they paired her with Naomi last night, it's like they're trying to find something for her. You know what I mean? It's like,
with the Iconics.
Yeah. Look, I'm okay with the Iconics having them, but the way that they went about it probably wasn't the best. But But yeah, I thought they did. I thought the segment with Paige and Asuka and Kairi Sane and the way that they went about all that was good. Again, that's they treated it like it was a big deal. Unlike last night, where it seemed like everything was just like, oh well, here we go. Here's who's here. SmackDown did a better job, I thought, tonight. I mean, even like they built up a big announcement over the last 2 days with SmackDown and announced it at the end of the show, and it was a big moment. Like there was nothing like that last night. The only thing that they said, oh, somebody's in the main event with Seth and Roman. That's it. It wasn't treated like a big deal at all. It was just kind of like, oh yeah. So it sounds like if you just had a typical mystery tag partner on Raw, it wasn't treated like a big deal. And it should have been because AJ is a big deal. You essentially traded the A guys from each show. So I thought SmackDown did a better job, really. Now it's good that this is all over with because now you can focus on Money in the Bank.
Focus on Money in the Bank.
You can focus on Money in the Bank, and you can focus on building somebody's feud. Because look, I mean, we know what Becky's feud on Raw is going to be right now, Lacey Evans, but we don't know really. There's no other storylines going on right now. Obviously, they're not gonna continue Roman versus Drew because Roman moves shows. So there's no other storylines going on right now. So that's something to look for next week. Is they're gonna probably start to build the Money in the Bank and then start to build some of these feuds out for pay-per-views. So that'll be interesting to see next week because we haven't gotten a lot of that. It's been kind of WrestleMania blow off and then now the shakeup. That's what it's been for the last couple weeks. So, we'll see what happens next week. And obviously, there's been some releases saying, like you pointed out to me, Luke Harper. Also, Alexander Wolf.
Alexander Wolf may end up in NXT. I already mentioned that one.
Okay, I didn't see that.
He may end up back in NXT for repackaging.
No, he's acting like he wants to leave, so we'll see how that goes. But they separated Sanity, which I thought was stupid, but
very stupid.
Really dumb. That's typical WWE though with that stuff. Did you see the other people that are going to SmackDown? Did you know about
yes.
Liv Morgan? You read the list?
Yeah,
okay.
I mentioned that. Yeah,
they broke up the Riot Squad.
Well, they broke up Liv Morgan from the Riot Squad.
Still though, they hate Liv Morgan. I'm convinced of that.
I'm convinced they hate the Riot Squad.
I'm convinced. Yeah, you're right. There's something going on there. But Liv Morgan's been like treated very badly. Like, I mean, she got concussed badly by the Bellas and by Brie Bella, and yeah, I don't get it. They broke up Bobby Roode and Chad Gable too, didn't they? I just realized that. Wow. I need to ask this. I really do. Mike, what was your reaction to the Viking experience?
I mentioned that earlier. It wasn't. It's not a good change in names.
You know why they did it, though, right?
Change names. They even changed. They went from Rowan Hansen to Igor and Ivan.
You know why they did it though?
Because they don't want to mention war.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. Then you just, War Raiders. Then just call them the Raiders or the Viking Raiders or something, and you just don't change their name to Hansen and Rowe.
Their Viking experience.
The Viking experience is. Yeah, that name needs to be worked on.
Yeah, they ain't gonna work on it. But talk about killing them their careers before they even get going. By the way, Akam could be returning soon, so we might see the good lord, I can't think of their names.
Authors of Pain.
Pain back soon. They're needed. They are needed. So, we've been getting a lot of questions over the last week about Sasha Banks. Not a lot of answers though. I mean, she did have a tweet yesterday in which she, kind of threw out a comment about, if you marked only new, and then she deleted it. But nobody knows. Look, she's gonna be gone for probably a few weeks. When she comes back again, I think she'll be moved to SmackDown. I don't know. I don't think she's gonna leave because I think she just. I told you this off the air. She just re-upped. I think in August. So look, if they freeze her contract, I think it's like a 4-year deal, if I remember correctly. She hasn't even used a year off that deal yet. They'll freeze that. She's stuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's too long of a deal. WWE's like, well, we're going to freeze your deal for the next 3.5 years. By the time you're that point, you're not going to be. Nobody's going to want you because nobody's going to remember. So to me, I think she's not going anywhere. I think this is kind of like a. I'm not going not a paid situation that there's a lot of drama and stuff, but like a paid situation that she'll be gone for a little bit, until she kind of figures stuff out. That kind of thing. Also, I don't know if you read this, but I feel the need to mention this because it was a source of much discussion a couple months ago. Shinsuke Nakamura is staying.
I didn't mention it, but I probably should have. Yeah, Nakamura's going to stay, allegedly.
I do not know the length of the deal, but it's I think he's going year to year anyway. So, yeah. So he's staying. So apparently he's happy. But with all the new talent on SmackDown, you can have some good fresh matches. We got Finn Balor.
We haven't had in a while.
Yeah, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens is there. They haven't done anything with that. Roman Reigns. Some good matches there. So, but yeah, Nakamura's staying. So, yeah. So a lot of these guys that people are like, oh, AEW, they're not going anywhere. So, but am I the only one that finds it funny that Dean Ambrose keeps showing up after Raws?
No, because I was not expecting it either. It was a cool moment, led to some singing.
It's like he has to show up because he's got like a spouse there or something. Crazy. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't think I look, other than the Roman shifting and AJ shifting, it wasn't the most eventful 2 days. I just think a lot of people are just happy it's over with now. Everybody's happy this shakeup's over. Everybody's happy that they're after WrestleMania kind of stuff is over. Now it's about kind of building things up again. Got Money in the Bank, which is one of the more exciting pay-per-views. And that's it is. It is. But this is one of the more exciting pay-per-views, and then you start to build to SummerSlam and beyond, and yeah, so it's gonna be good to kind of shake off like all the stuff from the last like 6 or 7 months where we've been kind of knowing where a lot of the big stuff was going. Now we're kind of unsure, so it makes it more fun. So we'll see how that all ends up. All right, so I think that's all we had to cover as far as wrestling goes. I said wrestling, basketball, and Masters. We did all that. Again, baseball we're going to do on Thursday. We'll do a baseball preview, and then anything else to do with baseball, including the Yankee Red Sox series, which got on the way tonight. We'll talk about that on Thursday. And then also with that, we'll do some entertainment too. So it'll be a sports entertainment combo, which we've done before, not out of the realm, but that's what we'll be doing on Thursday. So it'll be a little bit of a different kind of flavor than we've done the last couple of weeks. So that's what's coming up on Thursday. So let's wind down here before I lose my voice completely.
Good idea.
Yeah. The show might be over. It doesn't mean you have to stop interacting with our show. Continue to have your voice heard. Send us your questions about the show and the scheduling of the show, topic ideas or breaking news items, sports, entertainment, wrestling that you want us to cover. Reactions, comments, opinions, if we talked about in the show, things that we did. Anything you can do by email, Facebook, and Twitter. You can email us at itspotlight411@gmail.com. You can also follow us and tweet us at itspotlight411. I'm going to use the hashtag itspotlight411 for anything to tweet regarding our show. And as always, you can find us on Facebook. Just search in the Spotlight 411 on Facebook and then make sure that you like our fan page once you find it so that you can interact with us and know what's going on with the show and all that cool, fun stuff that you should do. So again, follow us on social media so you can do all that and more. Twitter or Facebook, we're on both. So follow us on both so you can engage with us fully in regards to the show. There are 2 ways to keep up with the show and look back at classic episodes. You can stream us anytime. On YouTube, to search in the Spotlight 411, and when you find us on YouTube, You'll find all of our episodes we debuted on YouTube back in October 2015, mid-October 2015. So every episode we've ever done for YouTube is available for you to stream anytime you want. Just head over to YouTube and search In the Spotlight 401. If streaming's not your thing, maybe for to listen to us on the go, you're interested in old episodes of the show. If any of that's the case, head over to our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes, to search for In the Spotlight 401. And when you do, you'll be taken to our show pages on both sites. We'll have access to every episode we ever produced in the over 8 years been doing the show. So every episode from our original Blog Talk Radio run, every episode from our Talk Show run, every episode from our current YouTube run. Of course, all those episodes will be transferred to audio format for your convenience. Every episode we've ever done is an audio format for your convenience. All in order from the most recent, that being tonight's, way back to the oldest, way back in October 2010. All those episodes are available for you to listen to anytime you want. Whether you miss an episode, want to check an episode again, miss an apartment episode, any of that applies to you. Check out an older episode for the first time or again. If any of that applies to you, check us out on our main host sites, Podbean and iTunes, to search In the Spotlight for once again, Google Plus YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, Google Plus YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, your ways to keep with the show and look back at classic episodes to search for In the Spotlight 401. Again, to search for In the Spotlight 411. I want to thank Mike for being here tonight. Thank you, Mike.
It is time for bed now.
I want to thank myself for another great, passable show because I had to leave for time, but pay myself back anyway. And thank all of you for your support. You can support and contributions to the show. Thank you so much for watching. To those that will be watching, listening to this later, thank you to you as well. Sorry I had to step away. There's a situation with the baby. I'm sure you heard that. Did the best I could. It was something. See, this is what happens when I'm early. I was early and I'm on time, and then look what happened. But anyway, that's a joke for those that say we're always late. So yeah. But anyway, sorry about that again, and we did the best we could with it. I know it kind of derailed things, but thanks to Mike for filling in and doing the best he could with it. So, all right, that's it for tonight. Again, Thursday, entertainment, sports combo. On the sports side, we'll do our MLB baseball preview and then some other MLB stuff, kind of keep all the baseball stuff together. And then entertainment, box office beat, TV highlights. That is coming up on Thursday. Any other entertainment stuff we have to cover, we will do on Thursday. Next week, one show on Tuesday. We will be preempted next Thursday because of Endgame, obviously. Next Tuesday, sports, entertainment, wrestling, all the stuff we have to do on one night on Tuesday's show. So that's what's coming up next week. We'll get into what's going on beyond that and everything in the days to come. Until Thursday, I hope you have a great rest of your night, a great Wednesday, and a great Thursday. We'll see you back here Thursday night, 10 o'clock from Eastern Time. Have a good night, everybody.